Hey everybody, Zach here from the Birdsea Cape Wildlife Center, which is the Cape Cod branch of the New England Wildlife Centers. We are back for another edition of Science for Social Distancing, the virtual education programs where we bring you right into the exam room where we're working with patients, and along the way we cover some science topics. So today finds us in an interesting place. Many of our students have actually returned to school, some are still learning at home. It's an exciting time around here because we actually have some of our volunteers finally back in the building. The reinforcements have arrived. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
We are super grateful for the extra help, especially as we are still going full tilt with animal admissions. And so as always, if you guys have questions today, please shout them out. We will do our best to answer them. And students, if you're out there at home and you're starting to work on your first sessions of homework this year or you have assignments, let us know. We'd love to cover what you guys are learning and see if we can help relate. Okay, so today we have a super exciting session for you. We are working on North America's smallest falcon, the American Kestrel. And now this guy came into our hospital with a broken wing. And of course, we are here with Dr. Patel and Robin Rome, our vet tech, as well as Kat, who's one of our students. And so today, we're gonna let you guys be in the driver's seat. Why don't you explain to us what we're gonna do with this little Kestrel?
So this little fella, or female, Kestrel, has been with us for 3 weeks now. She came in with a broken wing. She actually broke 2 wings in her bone. 2 bones in her wing, but we'll let you kind of see what's happening on the x-ray and see if you guys can point that out for us. So birds take about 3 weeks to heal their bones, so this is our 3-week recheck, so we're hoping, fingers crossed, everything feels stable and we can take her wrap off today. Here's her little...
All right, so you can see her small head there. And as Priya mentioned, she actually has a wing wrap on. It's a little hard to see right now.
Oh, don't mind me.
But as she goes to sleep here pretty gently, we will, you'll see a pink bandage on one of her wings, and that's what we're using to hold the bird in place. And no, so that you guys following along at home, what we're doing now is we're anesthetizing the bird, which means we're taking the bird who is awake right now, we're gassing him down with isoflurane and oxygen, and that will make the bird comfortably go to sleep. This is not dissimilar to a process you would go through if you had an operation in the hospital. And so we do this as a way of working on the bird in a way that is safe and reasonably stress-free, meaning once they go to sleep, they're not feeling pain, you're able to work with them, manipulate them, really assess what you're looking at, and make sure that the wing is healing or whatever diagnostics you're doing can be done efficiently and quickly. After that, the bird will wake back up. He's a little groggy for a few minutes, but it's pretty easy recovery, and he'll recover in a cage. We'll monitor him the whole time. An interesting fact is whenever we put a patient under anesthesia, we make sure not to feed them that morning. You don't want to go under anesthesia with a full belly. So when this guy wakes up, he'll be a little bit groggy, but he'll also probably be hungry, and we'll reward him with a nice snack. Okay, so I'm going to flip you back around, and you're going to see them as they're taping him right into the mask. Okay, so there's that wing wrap we talked about. And so you can see this wing is tiny. Just for scale, this is my hand. That is the size of this falcon's wing. So these are very minute bones. So you can imagine if you had to go through a surgical procedure, just the amount of precision you would need to do it. Even something like wrapping a wing on a bird like this to make sure that you have the tension going in the right directions is no easy task. We're lucky to have these folks that are much more dexterous than I am doing this.
And so we always make sure that he's breathing. And we can see her little body rising and falling with each breath. And Robin is checking her pulse right now, which should be super fast. We expect these guys to have a heart rate of around 200 beats per minute under anesthesia.
Wow. Do you want to say hi to Sarita?
Oh, hi Sarita.
We were joined by Priya's sister today watching us. So some quick fun Kestrel facts. So these guys are not only the smallest hawks in Massachusetts, they're also one of the most interesting, at least in my opinion. They have a very diverse food source. So meaning this time of year, in the spring and summer and early fall months, these guys love eating insects. And one of their favorite foods, believe it or not, is grasshoppers. So they are so quick and agile in there, they can actually snatch these grasshoppers and bugs and flies out of the air and get a pretty good meal. And now it's an interesting time of year for them because as things start to get colder, those insects are going to begin to disappear. And so that means this little bird is going to change its food source and start eating more mammals, as well as potentially reptiles and amphibians before they go into torpor for the year. Okay, so now we are on the move. Hey, Mike, nice to see you. Mike Chucker is also watching. He could probably tell you more about these birds than anyone else. And so what we're doing here is he's going down for 3 radiographs. We often take more than one view in our hospital because you remember, you're taking a 3-dimensional bird, meaning it's 3D, and you're turning it into a 2-dimensional image. So oftentimes you have to take more than one view at a time as a way of getting the full picture of what's going on. Okay? So I'm going to bring you right in. And you guys can see this bird is asleep. He's not feeling it. And what they're going to do is they're actually going to tape him out on the plate so that we get a really nice, equal, clear picture of the bones. Okay, and you can just... And so remember, when we do an X-ray, often what we're doing is we're comparing one side of the bird to the other, right? So, like most creatures with a spinal cord, birds are bilaterally symmetrical, which for those of you younger viewers, that means you're pretty much the same on one side as you are on the other, at least when it comes to your skeleton. So that means if you were to draw a line from the top of my head all the way to my toes and look at my skeleton in 2 halves, my right arm should look like my left arm, my right leg should look like my left leg. And that turns out to be a very useful tool for us because when we look at 200 different species of animals, we're not going to memorize what every skeleton looks like. But what we can do is we can rely on that X-ray and compare the bones on one side to the other. And if something looks different in that process, we have a pretty good idea that something might be going on. So in this case, we knew this poor bird broke 2 of the bones in its wing, and we're going to recheck them today to see if they still look different than the others. Okay, put our mask back on. And you can see Priya and Robin, we shoot X-rays from outside the room. There's our pedal. And we're going to go back in here. And so you can see this bird is splayed out. This is what's called a ventral dorsal view, meaning that the X-ray beam hits the ventral side first, and then the back side, which is the dorsal side. What is the next view you guys are setting up here?
So our next view is going to be lateral, meaning he's going to be on the side of his body. So you can do it on the left side or the right side. The better one is to do whatever damaged wing is down on the plate. That will give you a better image. So because his right wing is damaged, we're going to do a right lateral.
Right. Okay, so while they do that, some more Kestrel facts. This is a great time of year to see them if you're out in backyards, or they're actually a great species to see in urban places too. These guys, as falcons, they often perch on squared off structures, so like the side of a building, cliff sides. And these birds are smart. They're not wasting any energy, especially in a time when food is getting harder to find. What they do is they will actually sit patiently and scan an entire area, right? So they're not constantly flying and wasting energy, flapping around and looking for prey. They're actually sitting stationary and using these incredibly powerful eyes that can probably see 200, 300, 400 feet away and spot a prey item. And they wait and they wait and they wait until that prey is in striking distance. And then they will exert an incredible amount of energy, flying very quickly, and they actually talon and use their beak to dismantle the animal. Now these guys, as falcons, are incredibly fast. These guys, I think, can fly somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 miles an hour horizontally, and probably close to 100 miles an hour in free dive. Now that's pretty quick. If you take the inertia of even a small bird that's, a few hundred grams doing that, going at that speed, when it hits the prey item, it's going to do some serious damage. And now they're pretty closely related to another bird we have around here called the peregrine falcon. And we find them all over Massachusetts as well, but they are the fastest animal on Earth, I believe. And these guys can hit, I think, 200 miles an hour in free dive. And so you can imagine they can take out prey items that are much larger than they are by hitting them in that way. So pretty cool, pretty cool. Okay, so the bird is done with his X-rays. Robin is bringing him back out. Oh, and Catherine is reminding me of my physics equation. Thank you, Catherine. That's F equals ma.
X-rays are up.
Okay. And so we're putting him back on oxygen, and we're actually waking him up already. So that was pretty quick and painless for this little guy. We got all of the information we needed, and now he can begin the slow process of waking up. So why don't we go take a look at the X-rays? All right, Priya, what are we looking at?
Here we go. So this is the first view we took. This is the ventral dorsal view. So while she was lying on her back. So if you just look from a distance, you'll notice if you look for symmetry in one wing compared to the other, there's two highlighted areas in this wing. So this is the ulna bone and this is the radial bone. In birds, the ulna bone is bigger and the radius is smaller, whereas in mammals, it's reversed. The ulna is smaller and the radius is bigger.
So Priya, can you show us on your arm,
Sure.
Which one's the radius, which one's the ulna?
So the ulna is running this way and then the radius is here, but they kind of twist a little bit. This helps give the rotation in your wrist.
Cool.
So here we can see where the bone was fractured. It's highlighted because there's a lot of bony activity helping to bridge that fracture, to bridge that break in the bone. So this is exactly what we want to see. We can almost not really tell where the break was originally because the body is doing a good job of repairing the bone. So this highlighted area means that it's active and the bone is working to repair itself. So this is what we like to see 3 weeks into healing.
Very cool. And so just quickly, I want you guys to take a good look at this. And you can see, as Priya said, it's beginning to remodel and heal. But you can see that highlighted white part. Can you just show us the other wing for comparison?
Sure. Let me zoom out here.
Okay, so you can see the same places on that wing. It's completely continuous, nice and smooth. And you don't have that area of callousing and remodeling. But that is the work that the body is doing to repair that break. And this is exactly what would go on inside your body as well if you break a bone. All right, so the big question that we've all been waiting for, now that you see the X-rays, what do you think? Is he gonna do okay?
I think I'm very happy with what it looks like. 3 weeks right on schedule. We can keep the wing unwrapped. During that time, it was held to the body, so there's decreased range of motion in the elbow. So now he can start stretching, she can start stretching it, moving it a little bit. And we're gonna wait 1 more week before putting her outside. Sometimes they freak out. We don't want them to accidentally re-injure themselves. So 1 more week of cage rest unbandaged, and then we can flight test her next week.
Wow, so that is pretty exciting. That is good news for our small patient. So with that, we'll keep you guys posted. We're going to keep doing these videos. I really appreciate your support. If you like what you're seeing and you want to support the work we're doing in either education or in wildlife care, please consider making a donation, and you can do that on capewildlifecenter.com or on newenglandwildlifecenter.org. And in the meantime, for those of you returning to school, welcome back. And as always, if you have topics or things you want to talk about, please let us know. We'd love to include you in the conversation. So until next time, be safe, wash your hands, and we will see you soon. Thanks.